What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 78. So again, you have Dan, the Rally Rodriguez, myself. Bert is still traveling back from Ireland. So again, just like last week, you're going to get a two-person chat, which is not a big deal. I thought it went well.
Oh yeah,
kind of.
I mean, great.
Yeah, we didn't have anyone from south of the border, but
yeah,
you know,
it's all right.
So this week, gonna probably be a little shorter episode. Not a whole lot of news, but we'll be talking extensively about Outer Worlds and Modern Warfare. We've got a few delays to talk about of major titles and a couple other things to touch on. So why don't we start with the delays? Biggest news this week was the Last of Us 2 delay. Mm-hmm. So Last of Us 2, if you remember, it was exactly a month actually since they revealed the release date, which was originally February 20th, excuse me. And they came out and said that they just need a little more time. It wasn't being polished up to the Naughty Dog standards they'd like, and they also, which I really liked, want some time for their employees. So, like quality of life for their employees. So the new release date is May 29th, which takes it really far out.
Yeah.
That is, if you think about it, we're going to be getting the new consoles in October or November, early November at the latest. So, I mean, that puts Last of Us, just like Last of Us 1, people may not remember, came out in 2013 in June, about 4 months before the PlayStation 4 released. We're seeing the exact same thing with Last of Us 2.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either of us are worried about it.
No.
No. It's just interesting, and it also goes to show you how long it's been since The Last of Us came out.
That's crazy.
We've had one Last of Us for the entire generation.
Yeah. Well, not even really this generation. It was last generation, technically. I mean, we got a remaster.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a whole generation since we've had one. So, I'm fine with it. I think most of us are. Just keep it. It's got enough. You got enough space there between April and
Cyberpunk.
between Cyberpunk.
You
basically,
got about 6 weeks.
That's. I mean,
yeah,
maybe that might not be enough.
No, I'm probably gonna need about 4 months.
It's gonna be. Yeah, it might be. It might be cutting it close. But this is cool because with the quality of life for the employees, especially you hear so much crap about devs and
crunch
studios and crunch and how horrible the working conditions are. So this is really good. I don't know. I'm curious to see if once the PS5 releases, if there'll be like a remaster kind of like the other one. I just don't. I think since it's going to be more backwards compatible, maybe they'll be able to just enhance it a little bit more if they needed to.
Like Xbox One X enhanced type style.
Yeah. Exactly. So hopefully not. We'll see. I'm fine with it. It kind of sucks a little bit, only because you're kind of looking forward to something, but we ain't gonna be hurting for content or games.
No, first quarter's still fine. Which is funny. We got more delays we'll talk about too. But the one thing that I found interesting is you delay it to May 29th. You're a few months out from launch of PS5. And this is just me being super finicky, but I would have loved to have played that on the new hardware, built for the new hardware.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like if it was, I would love an enhancement. I don't think we'll get a remaster that quickly anyway, maybe a few years down the line. But it would have been nice if they, like last year, just said, you know what, let's make this a PS5 launch title. Right. Obviously still playable on the PS4 for all the people who aren't buying PS5 on day one, but let's optimize it for the PS5 to give you just that even better experience. I thought that would have been cool because now I'm gonna finish it, move on to the PS5, and it's like I'll obviously buy the remaster. I'll play Last of Us 2 multiple times, but I think that would have been neat.
Yeah, I think so too. It's what it is. We still have Ghost of Tsushima.
Which,
I have no idea when that's coming out.
People keep talking about it, right? So it's kind of funny. I wanted to talk about that too, because people keep talking about that game, saying how gorgeous it is, how amazing it's going to be.
Shoo, man. He loves it.
I know. And we've seen one E3 demo 2 years ago.
Right.
There's been nothing about that game since.
No. This is all insider stuff or people that have seen behind the scenes that I've seen. I haven't seen anybody actually come out and go, hey, this is the best looking game. Maybe there is.
One, Shu's Sony
it's
first
Shu,
party,
man.
so
yeah, right, yeah, it's Shu, man. But yeah, he said we saw that he went over to he goes over there and like every time he sees it, it's the most gorgeous game he's ever seen. Awesome,
great.
I want to see it.
If it's that gorgeous, then why aren't you showing anyone else?
Show it to us, man. I want to see it. I want to play it unless it's Sekiro, and then I'm going to be like, nope. This is gonna suck.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The other thing, and I've mentioned before, right, is the demo we did get of it wasn't even all gameplay.
Right.
A lot of that was cinematics. There was very little gameplay in there actually shown. So I don't know. Maybe I'm being pessimistic, and I certainly have faith in Sony first party. And the time they're getting to develop it probably alludes to a quality product. But it seems weird to me that they keep mentioning it. They keep saying it's a PS4 game. There's no date for it.
No.
We're at the end of the generation, and they haven't shown it to anyone.
I'm ready for it, man.
It just
show it, man.
It just seems odd. Like it does have more because Days Gone was similar.
Yeah.
Where they delayed it quite a bit. We kept talking about it. They delayed it again. They finally released it, and it was it's not a bad game, but it's not a great game.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, who's the studio on this one?
This is an Infamous developer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Ben made Days Gone.
I knew Ben did Days Gone.
This is Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they haven't made a title since Infamous, which came out in 2014.
Yeah.
So they've been working on this again the entire generation.
Well, it should look awesome then. Yeah, it should look amazing. Yeah.
Now I think what I speculated before, right, is maybe because of Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding, maybe they did what I just mentioned with Last of Us, where they said, okay, we're not going to make it till the end of the generation.
Yeah.
Let's take extra time and let's build it for the PS5 as well. Mm-hmm. So maybe they will launch it with the PS5, optimized for the PS5, but still a PS4 version playable too, which would be cool. I'd like that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't know. We know in terms of launch titles for next gen, the only thing we know is Halo.
Yeah.
Out of both.
Yeah.
There's no launch titles even talked about yet.
No.
So Sony's obviously going to have something in the, in the pipe.
I mean, I imagine E3 this year is going to be full of information.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm super pumped. Nuts. You guys better all be there.
Nope. I'm bailing out.
So delay. So Ubisoft. This is an interesting one. So Ubisoft came out same day and said we're delaying not just one but 3 titles.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because we've been talking about first quarter next year, and I had completely forgotten about Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out in first quarter.
Yep.
And the funny thing, if you go back and listen to our podcast at E3, Bert and I got the closed door demo of Watch Dogs Legion. And I love Watch Dogs, huge fan of the series. The gameplay looked cool. London looked amazing, the city. Mm-hmm. The polish around the cinematics, the talking, like the animation of the people, it was like early Andromeda.
Wow.
I mean, it was rough. Bert and I left there, we're like, that game's, it has a lot of time left till first quarter. This is back in June, remember? Yeah. But I was like, it's looking pretty rough. So this doesn't surprise me at all. But Watch Dogs Legion, Rainbow Six Quarantine, which is just that little kind of side game.
Yeah.
And then Gods and Monsters, which, again, as people tend to do, they showed no gameplay of this. No. They showed it at E3.
I don't even know what it is.
Neither does anyone.
Yeah, I remember seeing the
It's intriguing.
Yeah, the trailer for it at E3, and I was just like, all right, this might be good.
Yeah, it might be good.
Maybe it might suck.
But everyone's like, this game's going to be amazing. It's like, you haven't even seen anything.
No clue what it is.
So, anyway, all 3 delayed with no dates.
Yeah.
They basically spoke to their investors. They said that Breakpoint was a massive commercial and critical failure.
That's because it was. It's a piece of garbage. I mean, this is the Breakpoint, effect, basically right here.
You see what John Bernthal does?
Well, it's
he
not
just
his
ruins
fault.
Everything around it.
I saw something. He's going to be in the MCU coming up too.
Stop it.
Yep.
He's not Punisher.
That? He is the Punisher. Yes, he's going to be the Punisher.
God damn it.
In possibly the new Marvel movies.
Couldn't he be like Ant-Man when he's small?
No. The hell kind of shit is that? Anyway, all right. So yeah, Breakpoint was trash. Let's just get that out of the way. All right, and I think what is happening here is, they see it. They obviously want to sell more. They want the quality isn't there at all. So then they kind of looked at everything else and went, oh crap, there's we better not do this 2 times in a row. I'm
telling you, that would have happened with Legion.
Yeah,
I promise you, it would have.
Oh yeah, and then you don't want that, man. Because there's a lot of fans of Watch Dogs, and a lot of diehard fans of it, and you don't want to disappoint them. Rainbow Six is a huge following, so you don't want to bring out something that's gonna disappoint them. Gods and Monsters, like I said, we don't know anything about it, so who the heck knows?
Well, you don't want your new IP to fall flat.
Well, yeah, that too. No mention of like any kind of Assassin's Creed yet. We still haven't got like any kind of official thing on that, which is fine.
I'll put the money down now. That'll be a launch title for PS5 and Xbox Scarlet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Viking one.
I hope so, but maybe not now. Maybe if they're delaying all this stuff, I wonder if they're going to go out and delay everything else that they've been working on, like Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell.
Thank you.
God dang, we've been talking about it for so long.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like the decision, right? I'd much rather them take their time. I think that Eve kind of talking on his investor call, and he, people don't understand the business side of this, right? They're a big corporation. He has to basically speak to the board of governors of that company and basically say, hey, we've got nothing in first quarter now, which is, if you don't follow business, that's the end of their fiscal year. So their fiscal year, he's basically telling them their fiscal year is done, for 2019. So because they said this will be out of the fiscal year, which means we know for sure that none of these are releasing before April.
Right.
So it's interesting. Could be anywhere from April to March of 2021 for any of these games. But it wouldn't surprise me to see Legion come out. If they're not going to optimize that for PS5 and Scarlet, it wouldn't surprise me to see Legion come out as one of those kind of September titles just before the new systems to get kind of all those sales right up until the next gen launches.
I can see that.
Which is fine by me.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like you said, the business side, you've got to put out a product. If Coke came out and put out like some kind of crappy new Coke or something like they did in the 80s, it's going to fail. Fail miserably. And this is what they're doing. You got to put the time in. You got to put, let them have the time.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the money. That'll come.
Exactly. Right.
That's exactly the thing. Right. If you put out a quality product, people will buy it. That's just common sense, people. I mean, I don't even know how to, say it any more plain than that. Just don't put out Breakpoint again, please.
Well, and this market's just getting tougher year over year. So, I mean, if you put out a game that can't hold people's interest or is broken or buggy, I mean, you're done.
Yep.
It's gone.
And it landed. Breakpoint did right in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of Borderlands and Gears and, coming out, now Outer Worlds and Call of Duty.
Yeah. All games that are very, very good.
Yeah, all really, really good games. All, completely washing over the crap that is Breakpoint. I just like to keep putting it on.
I think you may need to lower your review score.
Yeah, I might have to. I did enjoy it to a certain extent only because it was an attempt at Ghost Recon. So, it just makes me mad. It's like it's the Anthem effect. Ticks me off. We're not
going to talk about Anthem, although that screenshot from Outer Worlds still makes me laugh.
I don't see it.
No?
No.
Oh, and I've been told that it's not a reference to Anthem, but I posted on Twitter yesterday, in the basement of this guy's thing, I found in the back, it looked like an armor set. It was an armor set. It looked just like a Colossus from Anthem, and it says like scrap heap or something like that. Like,
oh, man.
I'll show it to you. It's pretty fun.
Nice.
Anyway. Speaking of developers taking their time, so Dying Light, Techland is the developer of Dying Light. They a couple pieces of news with them. So they teased this week a Left 4 Dead 2 style mode coming to the game, and it had the Left 4 Dead 2 actual logo and font, which would kind of speak to it's not just in the style of the game, but they're actually doing some sort of crossover. Now they didn't give us any details at all. They just teased it, kind of internet blew up about it, and then they didn't say anything else. So we don't know when this is coming or what it's going to be, but people got really excited to see this. And what I think is most amazing is that Dying Light, I looked it up, it came out in January of 2014.
That's nuts.
So nearly 5 years ago, and they're still releasing content for the game, and it's still free content. So most people don't realize, I know a lot of people played Dying Light, liked it a lot, it got good reviews, critical reception, sold well. People don't realize that game has a dedicated community that still plays it actively. There are a lot of people that play Dying Light and are pumped for Dying Light 2. So I think what they're doing here is, they ramp up excitement for Dying Light, get Left 4 Dead 2 coming, late this year, early next, and then they go right into the release of Dying Light. I said Dying Light 2 a second ago. I meant Dying Light. Ramp right up into the release of Dying Light 2 and kind of blow the doors off.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a smart business move. You're trying to keep, you got to keep people interested, bring them back maybe a little bit, and, get ready for that sequel coming out. I'm really excited for the sequel. Dying Light, I played some of it and got too scared. But it was really good. What I did play, I loved it. I really did. And then I got to a point where I couldn't handle it. I'm hoping Dying Light 2 isn't quite as bad. but I'm not holding my breath.
Like we talked about, it's more, from what we've seen, it's more people to people. Like
Right.
there's zombies in the world, but it's more of a violent, kind of post-apocalyptic game
Right.
than just being a zombie game.
Well, see, that's I think that's like part of the reason, like The Walking Dead succeeds. It's more of a
Yeah.
people, what happens with the survivors, and have that zombie apocalypse as kind of the background,
Makes you ask, who are the Walking Dead? Is it the humans or the zombies?
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I haven't watched that show since like season 6.
I think we stopped at 6 or 7.
Yeah, that's bad news. But, I mean, the premise behind it is
John
great.
Berthal ruined that too. Wait, what?
He was dead in 2. He left.
That's
Wait, spoilers.
2 was the best season.
Dies. Yeah, 2. Maybe it was 1. I don't even know when he died.
I think it was 2 or 3.
Maybe 2. Sure.
But yeah, anyway, I think Dying Light 2 is going to be fantastic. We loved what we saw. It won a bunch of awards at E3. Yeah, that's another game we hadn't talked about that's coming early next year too.
Perfect.
I can't remember the release date. It's either March or April. I'll have to look that up. So while we're talking about that, I wore this awesome shirt today that I received for free, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's not be mistaken that I paid for this.
It came with the subscription service.
You get a free shirt.
Yeah.
It's only an extra small, as they don't have anything else. So Fallout and Bethesda, they grew a huge pair of balls this week, and rather than talk about Fallout 76 and the Wastelanders expansion that was delayed, and potential new content or free content for fans, they went the other direction.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, so we've got a thing called Fallout First. It's going to be a subscription service that will give you some dedicated, I got to be careful saying dedicated server time, so I'll explain. But it basically allows you to play in private on Fallout 76 with up to 7 friends. Kind of, yeah. So eight people. And you get some atoms to spend in the shop, which is like their currency. And you get a special kind of loot stash and a few other things. It's $12.99 a month or $100 a year. To clarify on the whole server thing, so players were asking to basically be able to host their own server where people can come in and play. What they got was not that. What they got was one person, if you're paying for the service, you can host it, but it can only have 7 other people, so the limit is 8. And if that player that hosting it stops his subscription, that server gets removed and the whole thing gets erased. So it's not really like a true dedicated private server. So Minecraft and a bunch of these other games, you can rent a server, right? And that world's like a living world that anyone can log into as long as someone's paying for that server.
Right.
That's what people wanted.
Right.
It's not what they got.
No.
This is a half-assed kind of middle ground where you're still $13 a month, but you're not really getting that. And so, as you would imagine, and I think everyone listening probably knows, this didn't go over very well.
No, it was awesome.
My favorite was, everyone knows obviously the Fallout logo with the big thumbs up, and the guy just turned it around and gave him a big middle finger.
He did. Here's the problem with all this stuff. So ESO has kind of a similar.
Yes, but that's a true MMO.
Right, it's true MMO.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. I think it's more expensive. I think it's $15.99 a month, but maybe that's WoW. One of the two.
They're
anyway,
like $15 a month usually.
You get similar stuff.
You do.
With that. And I understand where they were trying to go with this, except that when ESO released, while buggy, and had some issues, it was not like this. It wasn't like Fallout 76 where it was like just completely barren. You still have pay to win stuff on this game. I don't understand what they were thinking. Like, is it we need to crank some money up and make an extra $700 because that's all they're going to get probably from now until December because people aren't stupid. All right, maybe some people are. I don't know. I'm sorry if you bought this. You're not stupid.
No, I mean there are people that enjoy the game. Right?
Yeah, and that's fine
because they're big Fallout fans, and I'm a big Fallout fan.
I'm a huge Fallout fan.
It disappointed me but there are people who buy it, and the one thing that was surprising to me, and I don't know if anyone listening was there or kind of experienced, but we went, me and Bert and a bunch of the guys we talk with, right, we're at Bethesda's conference at E3. People were going nuts for the Fallout 76 announcements. I mean, like, Bethesda's core community, they are diehards. Like, they don't see the faults in this stuff the same way we do.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, that's weird.
They're like, cultists.
Yes, we've called you stupid and cultist in the last 3 minutes.
I don't think we have any cultists listening to us.
No. Anyway, yeah, this is just a big L.
Now, Todd Howard's a big listener, so.
Oh yeah, well then, Todd, you're a moron. I'm just gonna say that right out the bat. This is a cash grab. That's all this is. You know, you don't. I mean, you can do this if you have a product that is stable, that is, you know, that people are wanting. You know, that there's demand for, which I don't think there is that demand to warrant, you know, throwing this out there. Or maybe there is. They must have done some kind of research where they said, well, yeah, people are going to pay $100.
People did want the private server.
Yes, you know what? I would have loved it.
Yeah.
You know, and I would have tried it out, and you know, that way I don't have to worry about everybody else showing up. I could have just.
That was exactly the point.
That was what. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Just give that to me for free. Why charge somebody to play a game that, you know, and that will bring more people in if you just give. You know, it's just how it works. You know, it's a carrot. You dangle the carrot out there. You know, instead of saying, okay, here's the carrot, but you got to pay me $100 for it first, then you can have it. And that doesn't work that way, dumbasses. Listen to us.
Well, even, you know, one of the most dedicated communities is FO76 on Reddit, and even they lost their shit at this. So I can't imagine there's a lot of people supporting this.
No.
So
3 people.
Shirt was free. I'm just going to remind everyone about that.
He paid $300 for it, but he has to return it once his subscription runs out.
That's true. Yeah. This is true. All right. While I was looking at my phone briefly, I was trying to see if Dying Light 2 had a definitive release date because I couldn't remember. It doesn't. It's just spring. So great. Don't release it in April or May. Please, Techland, do something. Take March. Take February or March, and if not,
Doom comes out then. That Doom's quick game though.
Doom's quick. Yeah. Go to July if not. So, all right. So let's talk on Battlefield 5. Another, maybe a little bold say, but I would say rather disappointment for the community. I don't think this game landed with the kind of explosion that you would normally expect out of a mainline Battlefield release. Sold well. I think it's actually a pretty good game. It plays pretty well. It's gorgeous. It just doesn't. It doesn't have the it. It just doesn't.
It didn't make any significant jumps.
No, it
from
didn't.
1.
They needed to take more time between 1 and 5 and reinvent a few things, and it didn't do that. So, it's got this huge update coming out for the Pacific War, which obviously a massive part of World War II. Why you would have thought the Pacific stuff would have been included at launch, but 3 famous maps. Iwo Jima, Wake Island are coming. Those are classic Battlefield maps, which is really cool. Pacific Storm, which was a big one from Battlefield 4, is coming. A whole bunch of new weapons, vehicles, outfits, all kinds of stuff. It looks like a fantastic update, but it's a year after release, and it's coming out now, basically, as all these other major games are out, including Modern Warfare, which we're going to talk about extensively, and I'm just going to kind of be bold here, but Modern Warfare has eaten Battlefield's lunch.
Yeah, that's not hard. It's a very small lunch.
It's mostly
a
snack.
It's a few grapes and a Capri Sun, basically, is all it is. So here's the thing. You know, you look at Battlefield, and I kind of compare it to, say, like Battlefront 2.
Okay.
You know, they're both from EA. Battlefront 2, you know what they did when they came out, and they said, okay, we screwed this up. You know,
they have stupid decision.
Gosh, I know it was terrible.
Keep doing this.
That's EA. That's the EA influence.
Luckily, they followed it up with Anthem.
Right. Yeah. Even better. Stupid ass. Anyway, so you got, you know, they've been doing the same thing, and people have been praising, you know, what they've been doing, but it's been kind of consistent monthly.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job.
And they've been doing a really, really good job. Battlefield kind of came out. There was like a 3-month like pause. It's like, here, soak it in. And not many people did. And then, you know, here's a couple other things. Oh, here's this. We're going to add this. There was no single player component, really. It was kind of just like 3 or 4 different, like, situations. I mean, it really wasn't anything to, you know, write home about.
It wasn't a campaign.
Not even close.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like, a couple times, you know. Then they did that with Battlefield 1, too. But it just felt better in that one for some reason. So... And then they just go these long pauses of no content or no anything. You know, you've got to be, you know, when you fail that miserably out of the gate, you've got to come in and just be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Here's our game plan. Give us something every month, you know, and try to keep them interested. At this point, you've almost lost most of your, you know, I'm not saying your dedicated fan base, obviously. I don't talk, you know, that's something completely different. But the people that come in and just play it casually and enjoy
Us?
playing it, yeah, right. And we played, and it was a really good game. It was fun. You know, it just there was nothing there after a while. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like you got to keep going. You can't just kind of every few months come out and you go, okay, here's some new stuff. We'll see you in
a few months.
June. Yeah.
It's a shame, really, because I love Battlefield. In fact,
Yeah.
I was one of the guys. You know, you get into this Battlefield Call of Duty conversations, and they're very different games,
Right.
at least traditionally. But I was always preferred Battlefield.
I'm the same way.
Okay, I like the combat better. I like the big scale and how you can have classes and kind of work as a squad and all that. And they've fallen flat. Battlefield 1 was I appreciate that they took the risk going to World War I. Everyone thought it couldn't be done, and they showed it could be done, and it was a pretty good game.
Yep.
But they just, I think the move after Battlefield 1 to go back to World War II so quickly with so little change was a mistake. And I think they're probably thinking that same thing right now.
Yeah.
So I really want to see what they're going to do next. I wish they would just let this side team kind of keep Battlefield 5 going for the core fans, but give them like 3 years, big budget, and just reinvent what Battlefield is, because they really need to do that right now.
Yeah.
And they didn't. The problem too for Battlefield is I don't know if you remember, but one of the guys at EA or DICE or someone came out a few years ago and basically talked shit on Call of Duty and said your annual release is going to fail and we're going to take over. This was before Battlefield. It's either before Battlefield 1 or I can't remember. I'll have to find the quote. But anyway, that didn't pan out.
It never will.
In fact, it's because the one thing Call of Duty's done really well, they've done quite a few things well, whether you like them or not, but they have 3 development teams, right? So they can spend 3 years making a game, but still release annually. Battlefield just has the one team at DICE that makes it, and so they can't put out the content like Call of Duty can.
Well, that and, I think Call of Duty, it's I want to say it's been around longer, but a lot of the Battlefield, the early stuff like 1942 or the Vietnam or whatever
some of my favorites.
Yeah, some of the good ones. A lot of those, I don't know if they really found a home on console. I mean, they were on PC. That was where their fan base was.
Bases.
And
they still cater to that base, really.
Right. Yeah, 100%. With Bad Company coming out, I think that was one. Yeah, it was so good. It was so good, and that was one of the ones where Battlefield kind of started showing what it could do on the in the console space.
It had some personality.
Yeah.
Too.
Right. Love the 4-man squad, those guys. It was great. And, they just kind of went away from it, after a little bit. And I don't know why. Because they had something there.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer was good.
Yeah. And then, and to your point, their user base was growing.
Yep.
And they've just faltered.
They almost just capped off. Right around, right after Battlefield 1 kind of came out.
I think 4 was probably this gen's peak. 4 was, I think, the peak player base. 4, God, I have like 400 or 500 hours in the 4. Yeah. Like, I've played it a ton.
Did we talk about Hardline?
No, we're not going to talk about Hardline. Oh. Why would you put Visceral?
Visceral.
So why do you go from Dead Space, one of the best survival horror games of all time, be like, we're going to put them on a cops versus robbers Battlefield game?
Yeah, I thought I was playing it was like
and then
CSI.
And then you shut it down.
That was so bad.
God damn it,
It's
EA.
hilarious.
Now I'm getting mad.
Hilarious.
All right. So anyway, let us know if you're, jumping back into Battlefield 5. But I wanted to take that moment to jump us into new releases and what we're currently playing, which is we'll start with Modern Warfare on that front. Sure. So Modern Warfare out Friday. A lot of hiccups at launch, which is surprising for a Call of Duty. I'm guessing it's because more people picked up this Call of Duty than they have in recent years. This just seems to be way bigger of a hit.
It was the most pre-ordered Call of Duty ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew it was coming.
Yeah. So people couldn't even play campaign because you can't play offline.
Right.
So you couldn't even connect to the server or anything. But anyway, we don't need to talk about the issues. But the game itself. So you have finished the campaign. Yeah. You finished it immediately and got the review up, so you can check that out.
Yep.
But it is, as a package, I think it's probably the best Call of Duty has been in a very long time, maybe ever.
Yeah.
So, if you're not overly familiar with this, you've got a campaign. It took, what'd you say, 6 to 8 hours, something like that?
It's not very long.
Not super long, but good. Very good.
Very, very good.
Very good campaign, very mature. We'll talk more about that in a second. A big multiplayer suite. So it feels like Call of Duty. You know, there's certain things that kind of come with every Call of Duty, kill streaks and equipment and different guns and modification and stuff. But it's just a lot deeper. And what I really like about it is that the multiplayer now, they have your standard kind of 6-on-6, 8-on-8 modes, right? But then mixed into Team Deathmatch and your standard modes, there's actually slightly bigger maps that are 10-on-10, which is really neat because, well, to me, and I know some diehard Call of Duty people are kind of complaining about this because they love those small maps where it's just insta-kills all over the place.
Shipment, man.
Yeah. So this is a little different, but what I like about it is it actually makes things like DMRs and sniper rifles viable because there's actually a little bit of distance in different sight lines. And, you know, I'm not as good as I used to be at these shooters. I got a lot of time I need to put into Call of Duty to get better at it. But I'm enjoying the hell out of it because the play style is much more varied than it's been in Call of Duty for a long time, especially like Black Ops, which I'm not, I know people love. I'm not the biggest fan of. But then it also has, speaking of Battlefield, right, it has the 32-on-32 ground war style.
That's nice.
Huge maps, just like Conquest and Battlefield. It's not as fully featured, so there's only a few vehicles. You can't like revive. There's not classes and all that stuff. But it does give you that big scope feel where you can just sit back and snipe, or you can rush flags and, you know, all kinds of equipment and explosions happening everywhere, and it's really intense.
Cool.
All the way down to they have a 2-on-2 mode, which is gunfight, which is super fast-paced, round-based. So then you add in Spec Ops, which is like co-op, you know. There's just, it's a huge package for $60. And I think it's really shown up Battlefield to say Call of Duty can not only do their traditional quick deathmatch style multiplayer, they can still have a meaningful campaign, have co-op modes, and give us the big team mode all in one package.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it doesn't seem like, you know, they got 3 years to do this, right? So
they've been working on it since Infinite Warfare.
Right. Yeah. And that was the last good campaign that I remember, you know, as far as I'm concerned.
Me too.
They've done an amazing job. I haven't gotten too much into the multiplayer at all, actually.
You've done campaign, I've done multiplayer.
Yeah, right. I'm going to be playing a little bit today, I think, with my son. You're going to see how that goes. I haven't really played Call of Duty multiplayer, I mean, since Modern Warfare 2, probably. You know, like, consistently.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I play a ton of multiplayer. I'm usually pretty good at them. But there's so many sight lines and different maps, and you know, kill times are quick in Call of Duty, so there's a lot to learn.
Nice. Well, I'm ready to go for it, man. I mean, I want to try it out. I used to play hardcore mode.
Yeah, that's in here.
Yeah, is it in here too?
Yeah, you can play hardcore.
I love hardcore mode.
And they also
that was the only time I had a chance because, like, you know, it was like one shot,
it's
one
whoever
kill.
fires first.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And I would just spray and pray. Sometimes, you know, my kill death would go up that, you know, in that kind of situation because I make myself small and I just get an LMG and I just
they have LMGs.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. I have a few complaints. Some of the spawns are weird. You know, there's all that normal stuff you complain about, but a lot of customization. No goofy nonsense like you see in some of the Black Ops with like weed camos and you know what I mean, like that just immature stuff. So at least right now, it's really solid. And I want to touch on really quickly because I'm a big sound guy. One of the things Battlefield has always been tremendous at is their sound. Like it sounds like you're in a damn war when you're playing that game. This is the first Call of Duty where they've matched it. It's way up there on the sound scale. The explosions, the bullet sounds, you can hear the minute footsteps. Like I know where everyone is around me at all times, even in terms of elevation. So if someone's like running next to me but he's above me, I can kind of hear it. It's really well done. So big shout out to that sound team over there. Big listeners as well.
Yeah.
So
huge.
But anyway, so we'll go back in a minute to your campaign review. But other releases this week. So Medieval came out for PS4.
Yeah.
This is the remake. Did not get rated very well. So what it sounds like from what I've read is if you love the original, which PS1 game, and you just wanted that game with a new coat of paint, here's your remake.
Yeah.
Or remaster, whatever you want to call it. But it's not a ground up remake. They added a camera angle, they added fancy graphics, but the gameplay, some of the old school mechanics, all that is still intact, for better or for worse.
I mean, that sucks. I mean, I was never, necessarily a big medieval fan. Excuse me.
I don't know if there's such a thing as a big medieval fan.
Yeah,
This is more nostalgia than anything else.
As far as nostalgia, yeah, I never really played it, so I was kind of hoping to jump into it, but now it's probably gonna wait for a sale.
Yeah, it's no reason to buy it now.
And just see how it is. I mean, great for medieval fans, I guess, or nostalgia fans.
Well, we know Raw was really pumped about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And they released Crash and Spyro and stuff, and they kind of did the same thing. I played those games, and it's just like they could have done a little bit more, instead of just kind of sprucing up the graphics. I love Crash Bandicoot, and I love Spyro the Dragon. It's just they didn't do very much. It sounds like they could kind of carry this over to medieval. So, it's weird.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then talk about one of my games that is quickly ranking up the 2019 list in Outer Worlds.
Yeah. So
this game, I've already put probably close to 10 hours into it, something like that. I've been playing it quite a bit. I don't even know where to begin. So to me, and I'll get your thoughts. Have you been playing it quite a bit, or?
I got it probably about the same.
About the same, okay.
Yeah.
So to me, it feels like an awesome mix of old school Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say old school, I mean the original 3D games, like Fallout 3 and 4 in New Vegas, with Mass Effect, but with better writing and a sense of humor.
Yes. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's just, it's hilarious. It's very engrossing. Like, it's one of those games where it's like, oh, I just want to do this next. I just want to do this next. It was 9 o'clock the other night, and I was playing, and I told my wife I was going to just finish this mission, as is the famous last words in a video game, right? By the time I looked at the clock again, it was almost 1.
Perfect.
Like, I had just been, you just get engrossed in it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's
one of those games where you're playing and like you're trying to finish a specific mission and 3 other ones open up. Yeah. It's like, well, that shouldn't take very long. It's kind of on my way, so I'll just go over there and take care of that. Or I just need to go up one more level so I can get a few more points so I can make sure that that's me. Yeah. I pumped a whole bunch into like my speech skill or whatever that is.
Do that if you're listening.
100%
dialogue.
Yeah, I mean that will save you a ton of time. And that and melee weapons. That's what I'm doing.
Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm like a thief. I'm a charming thief.
Oh, nice.
I do dialogue and sneak.
Nice. Yeah, sneak was one of those ones I kind of thought about, but then I was like, no, I'm just gonna take a hammer,
smash. Gonna crush everyone.
Yeah.
If you don't want to talk, I'll smack you.
Right.
In the face.
Exactly. That's basically you get those 2 options, which I think is fair. But it's like you said, you're going to do a mission, and it seems like it's going to take a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes to finish this thing up. Next thing you know, you're doing, it's one of those games where you've got it's missions within missions.
Yeah, it's like a rabbit hole.
Yeah, you just keep going and keep going. It's like, oh, hey, I gotta, pick up this sample of whatever, and I can't get to that now because this outlaw's got it, and I've got to do something for her now.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you've.
But I love the way they write it, right? Because you can tell, one of the things they said is this is not open world because it allows them to provide a more finely crafted experience.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen that thoroughly now because it's like, the things you loved about those old BioWare games, at least I did, right, is that you have player choice and, you have the capability to select from different options when doing missions and approach them different ways. And this, I think, is even almost a little broader. It's very similar. But sometimes you'll go to talk to someone, right? And there'll be like 5 or 6 options. Yeah. There's a lot of different things you can do.
Yep.
And
then 5 or 6, different parts of that conversation, maybe more.
Yeah, and it just expands and expands, right? And I just, it's so well done in that vein. And I just love the environments. Like I said, the sense of humor, man. There's some really funny stuff in that game. As of right now, I can't say enough good things about it.
No, there's really. I've had really just a few audio issues where the audio will cut out, or like the gun you won't be able to hear your gun. You hear everything else, like everybody talking, like I'll be shooting the gun, but the gun sound won't come on. So I just save it and then reload it, and then usually that takes care of it. That's super minor. I've had, I've played Breakpoint, so.
Well, even speaking of Modern Warfare crashed my Xbox the other day, like fully.
See, that was the one thing that didn't happen to me. This one did.
Well, apparently, what someone told me on Twitter, which has to be true, is is that on the multiplayer, that when you have crossplay enabled, which is enabled from the start, it can cause some weird issues that they're working out right now. And there is a known thing for, as usual, for Xbox One X's on Modern Warfare.
That's
so like I literally entered my clan tag as SG for Season Gaming. I always do. And it was just like, woo, you know, it just, the game crashed, and then my whole Xbox crashed. I was like, what in the hell?
You gotta wait 20 seconds before you put it back up. Yeah. It freaks you out every time.
But for a game, to your point, I haven't had a single issue in Outer Worlds yet. Not a bug, not anything weird you see in the environment. You know, these big games, sometimes you'll see like a character floating through the air, or I haven't seen anything like that. And it's really impressive to me that Obsidian managed to pull off this style of game and launch it this smoothly and well. Especially
with everything else that you see getting released that is basically full of bugs. They actually took their time. You know, here's the thing. You know, if I want a sequel and I haven't even finished it yet.
Yeah.
You know, I love the companions. I love every one of them. Parvati, I love her.
She's great.
She's hilarious. You know, and it's not like that unintentional hilarity where she's like, I have no idea that I'm being funny. I'm just kind of, you know.
They're just written really well.
Yeah, they're really, really well.
Yeah.
What is it, Ada? Your ship is
great
too. I mean, everything, like every person has their own personality, and it's really fleshed out, and it's really well done.
Yeah.
And I can't,
Which we haven't seen since Mass Effect.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's what people want Mass Effect 4 is they love the environment, the characters, and just like that experience.
I can see people totally falling in love with this franchise.
Yep.
And I cross my fingers in 4 years that, you know, Obsidian releases another one. And I really hope, you know, I know this is down the line, but that everybody's going to be able to play it on all consoles. I know they have, you know, they're now a Microsoft studio, but you can't take that away from people. You know what I mean? It sucks. Yeah. It sucks, but I get it. I totally get it. But I really want to see, you know, everybody with a console, any kind of console, be able to play. Maybe not the Switch, because I'm sorry, it's just. But you know what? This one would work, I think, on the Switch, because it's really not like super graphic intensive. It's just very.
If Witcher can work, this can work.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
I would 100% play this on my Switch. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Well, I mean, by next year we'll be playing on xCloud, so you just take it anywhere.
Yeah.
There was an interesting conversation on IGN, of all places, where they were talking about the actual IP ownership, and one of the editors there asked Private Division, or Obsidian, one of them, about the IP, and it wasn't clear who owns the rights to it. Because remember, a Private Division published this.
Right.
So even though Microsoft owns Obsidian now, I don't know if it's clear, and if anyone listening can tell me, I don't know if it's clear if Microsoft owns Outer Worlds IP.
Okay.
Which is interesting, right? Because if they don't, and seeing as big of a hit this is, and they said they left it to where, I listened to an interview with the developers, they left it to where, yes, they can make a sequel, and they don't, you know, they don't want to make it this huge open world game. They want to keep it like
this is
it
perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't know that you want this until you actually play it.
Yep.
Because I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. I want to be able to go wherever I want to. You pretty much can.
It's like Hub Worlds.
Yeah, it's Hub Worlds. Yeah, basically. Yeah. And then, you know, but every one of them is the right size.
Yep.
You know, it's not like where it's like, okay, I'm going to be walking for 30 minutes down this road, you know, and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah. And they're dense.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff. Like I actually, so anyway, to your point, to finish on that point, there may be a world where this still gets released as Xbox Game Studios for either all consoles or Private Division is still involved somehow. Microsoft just makes the money from it, which they've done before. I mean, Minecraft does that. It's on everything. But yeah, there. I was exploring. You know me, I explored freaking everywhere. But there's
the same way, man.
There's a lot of stuff hidden in these stuff. So like, I almost like dishonored or prayed it the other day, where like I saw some crates that looked like you could kind of get up them, and so like I'm jumping up and around, and then I followed this path through this hidden door. And then there was a dead guy around the corner behind this crate, like a dead body. I mean, you couldn't see it. Even if you're looking at the crate, you couldn't see it until you literally walked behind the crate. Opened up the thing next to him, and he had like 6 things, including a rare weapon, and he had this special armor which improves sneak, dialogue.
It's like the perfect armor.
Oh, dude, it was. I found it, and it makes me look like I'm in Firefly, which great references there in the game too, by the way. And I was like, man, this is just great. This is so far up my alley.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not even joking. I'm trying to like think of a game of the year right now, and this is probably going to be
way up there.
It's going to be really, really close.
Way up there.
I really, another game I did finish this week was Astral Chain. finally, and that was really, really good. But it's a whole different game.
Sure.
This game is, this has got me written all over it because I was a huge Vegas fan, huge Mass Effect fan. If you like either of those two games, just get it.
That's what I'm excited. So for listeners, Bert comes back today. Actually, he's on his way back from Ireland, so he'll be back next week. But he's a diehard Mass Effect fan. Yeah. He's not a big Fallout fan, but he's a diehard Mass Effect fan. So I'm going to be interested to see what he thinks of this.
I feel like he's going to load it up, and it's going to crash on him multiple times. He will have tons and tons of bugs, and things will blow up at his house.
I don't know. This is what I'm seeing, guys. It just keeps breaking.
You will have the opposite experience of who will have. And it's not going to be by his choice.
No.
The Xbox might explode. It just kind of happens. I feel bad for Bert sometimes. But good to have you back tomorrow.
Yep.
Next week.
Next week. Yep. And I know he's dying to play Modern Warfare 2, so I said he's in for a treat because these two coming home to these two games are like, this is great. I said the other day, I can't believe that last month we got Borderlands 3 and Gears 5 in 1 week, and then this month we get Outer Worlds and Modern Warfare on the same day.
Yep.
And then we get Luigi's Mansion, and as you're listening to this.
Yep. Oh my gosh, is that tomorrow?
That's Tuesday.
Jeez,
it's crazy.
Christmas?
So Tuesday or Thursday? Is it actually on Halloween?
That'd be Thursday.
Yeah, I can't. The game's not releasing on Thursday.
No, it's on Tuesday, I think.
Okay. Anyway, Outer Worlds, absolutely love it. You know what's funny about this is when at FanFest last year, so I have a cool pin on my pin board of Outer Worlds with the moon face, the Space of Choice. And I also they gave out, you know how you can find the collectible toss ball cards, the baseball cards? Mm-hmm. I have a pack of them.
What?
From the game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I didn't
know where that is.
I didn't think much of it when they gave it to us because I was like, Outer Worlds, it looks pretty cool, whatever. Now I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I actually have some merch from the game, you know?
Quick question. Have you been caught stealing yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I talk my way out of it every time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure. I've never been caught.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just run up to something and be like, hey, guys.
So... Give me
that corn.
I do that all the time too. But the funny thing about it, if your and this is almost like a little cheat, but if your dialogue's high enough, which mine is, I'm like level 9, my dialogue's like 60. I mean, I'm way
close
up there.
To that, yeah.
When you steal, someone will run up, and instead of just immediately like Skyrim or whatever Bethesda games where you like all hell breaks loose, right? They run up, they'll be like, hey, what are you doing? You know, like that's ours.
Yeah.
You then get dialogue options. And if you're high enough, you can persuade them to just be like, oh, I was just, go mind your own business.
Like Skyrim. Yeah, you can. Skyrim does it like that.
You can kind of do it like that.
Yeah.
But if it's high enough, and then basically what happens is, if you notice, when you use a special skill like a persuade, you get XP.
Yep.
So literally, if you're like in a crowded area, you can steal something, someone will run over, you can talk them out of it, get XP, and you can keep doing that.
Oh.
Yeah. I haven't done that because I don't like doing cheap things in games personally, but you can certainly do it.
There's really no reason to, because you're going to just continue to get XP over and over again. I think I hit 14 last night, and it's,
Level 14?
Yeah.
Oh, you're ahead of me then.
The thing about it is, though, I mean, you get like a little bit of here for these side missions. Those main missions,
they give you tons.
So much XP.
They give you a ton.
And that's going to, really kind of boost you up. But I'm working on getting all the companions. I got to have them all. You can't just go through and get 3 or 4 companions. You got to get everybody. All the side missions, I'm going to do every one of them.
Yep.
All the companion missions, going to do every one of them because that's how I do it.
And then when you replay, you can kind of decide what you want to pick and choose, right?
Right.
You know everything.
Yeah, you get a better idea of how the game plays, what's the best route to take. Part of me wishes I would have taken the ranged weapon kind of stuff, but at the same time, I do like smash people in the face.
Yeah, that's of the melee and range, I do range. I do handguns, and then I let my other people kind of run in closer.
Nice.
So, and not to stay on it too much longer, but the leveling system is fantastic.
Yep.
It's so good with the perks and the way
basic,
you pick things up.
But it's all you need.
Yeah.
Right? It's not anything crazy. It's not where you have 18 different things. I will say this. Be sure of what you take in the very beginning of the game. Like where you're going to spec out those initial points, because I haven't seen where you got more of them after a while. I thought, like you get your skill points, right? But those initial ones that you put in when you're creating your character will determine how you gain points, I guess, in the skill set tree. Like if you're a higher melee, if you put like strength, you can't in the Fallout games you could go back and you can increase those from time to time. In this one you can't. It's just those are your base stats, and those will never change.
Oh, your core. So you can respec on your ship,
right?
But your core is still based.
It's
on
always gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So be sure, that's what you want to do before you get
Dialogue.
started. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wish I would have went back and put one more point in that, but yeah.
It just makes it so much more fun when you have like 3 additional options to talk
Oh,
your
yeah.
way out of stuff.
It's fantastic.
And there's a lot of talking.
There's a lot of talking.
A lot of that, so. All right, cool. So Love and Outer Worlds. So let's jump real quick back to Modern Warfare, the campaign.
Yeah.
Because you finished it, reviewed it, gave it a really high score on
Yep.
our scale. You technically gave it around a 9, so it's sensational.
Mm-hmm.
It's rather short, but you said very impactful
Yeah.
and very mature, as they kind of told us it would be, right?
Yeah, and they tell you every single time you boot it up. I mean, there's a warning every time. This is mature content. If you don't think you can handle it, you probably shouldn't be here. I mean, I'm not sure that's exactly what it says, but it's
it says something to that effect, because I did start it.
Right. Here's the thing about the campaign, and I've already seen the articles coming out about how, yeah, it's powerful, but is it needed? You know what? I don't know. I can't answer that question.
It's a stupid question.
It's a stupid question, Kotaku.
Well,
maybe not Kotaku. I mean, it could have been Polygon. I mean, I don't know who it was.
Well, I mean, either way,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I can't. I've never been in any kind of combat situation. I haven't. I can't speak on what it's like truly. Like, is this what war is like? Is this what?
And no video game's ever gonna represent that.
Everything I'm basing it on is probably from pop culture, movies.
Yep.
Black Hawk Down or something like that. It's very, very visceral. It's very, very brutal. There are some moments in that campaign that will make you question, what did I just do? Why am I in this situation? Why did Infinity Ward make this into the campaign? I still question it. There's just like I have no idea why do I have to do this? This is really messed up. But it makes it impactful. And now, I don't know that it makes a difference later on. I mean, that's not like a choice-based game where you come back and it's just
it's a single experience, right?
There's some play times where you can there's some dialogue choices that you can do that allows you to do it in just certain situations. But this game is really more about the characters and bringing them kind of to life. They did an amazing job with what it looks like. The gameplay is Call of Duty tight, I mean, that should be in the dictionary somewhere. But it's so you don't have to worry about that. That's all there. They bring you into these situations that are just so cool. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a badass, whatever I am. I'm the SAS officer, or I'm the CIA agent, or whatever it is, or the the insurgent leader, or whatever it is, And they have those different mission styles too.
Is there a sniper mission?
There's a sniper mission.
You knew there.
Right, yeah, and it's really, really good.
Nice.
But it kind of, it's that sniper mission. It's the night missions. There's like 2 or 3 of them.
Yep.
Amazing.
Nice.
I mean, like unbelievable. Like it's like you're watching a movie while you're playing. That's how realistic it looked.
Yeah, the new engine's pretty fantastic.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it's all those combinations, that kind of combine into this thing where this is the best Call of Duty campaign I've ever played.
Oh,
Period.
really? Wow.
Period. I won't even,
There you go.
I loved Modern Warfare because I love the characters. This one takes those characters. It's kind of like a reboot, But what's really cool is like, when you start off the game, and this is kind of a minor spoiler, but the date that the thing happens on is October 25th, 2019. The release date, which is super cool. I was like, oh, get out of here. So when that showed down there, and I don't know if that changes or anything when you play it like later on, but I'm assuming not. And so it happens in today's world, whatever reasonable facsimile of it. Captain Price is back.
Yep.
He's freaking awesome. I love that guy. I mean, I don't know who the actor is that played him. Did an amazing job. Alex from the CIA, I think he was in Black Ops. Maybe I'm wrong. And then you play as the 2 insurgent, or you play as one, the female. I can't remember her name right off. Farah, maybe is her name. She's amazing, and she's really. I didn't really see her coming, as far as being that playable character. But also,
of it.
but also having that very impactful, because this is kind of her thing. She's trying to save her people. So, it's really, really good. It's really, really well done. It doesn't take a long time to play, which is great because there's so many other things. I was able to get through it basically in one day and get on the Outer Worlds. So if that's what you're looking for and you're looking for a campaign, if you're going to spend $60, this is probably I would pay for it. I would 100% pay $60 to play that game again from start to finish.
Oh.
But you get so much more, like you said.
Yeah,
the whole suite. I mean, the package.
It's one of the biggest packages this year for sure.
Yeah, but it's super good. I mean, 100% my favorite.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I don't even have any questions for you. I did start it. I only got maybe an hour, so I got a long way to. Well, not a long way to go, but I'll get back to it. I've been too wrapped up with Outer Worlds and
that's why I played it first.
And the multiplayer. Yeah, and I love multiplayer. I keep jumping in, and the thing about multiplayer, it's so quick to jump in and out of. Like I'll have like 20 minutes. I'll be like, I can get 2 matches in real quick, and it's great. So anyway, that I think will do it for this week. We didn't seem to have a lot of topics, but we've been going for almost an hour.
Stretch it out.
Yeah, it's good conversation.
Sure.
So. A couple things just to mention. So like we said, Modern Warfare campaign review up on the site now. Dan, check it out. The multiplayer review is going to be done by either myself or Bert. We both play a ton of multiplayer. Bert is typically our more traditional Call of Duty guy. He's played more of it than we have. So we'll see what his schedule looks like coming back from his travels, of course. I'll be doing the Outer Worlds review. Expect that sometime this week, probably, as I want to make sure, obviously, put enough ample time into it to really explore it. It's looking good right now, though.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't checked it out, my new industry perspective video is up. It's on the site. It's talking in deep about the impact of Game Pass. So what Xbox Game Pass has done for the industry, its performance, how it's making other companies respond, et cetera, et cetera. So that's up on our channel. And that's about it. We've got a few other cool things coming to you now that Bert's back. He was in the middle of editing, like I said, because he's been traveling. He's been a little delayed, but we have a couple other kind of cool videos coming from when we were here together, the three of us. That'll be published soon. But as always, really, really appreciate the listens, the watches, guys, the likes, subs, etc. And thank you. And we will talk to you next week.